Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are here sometime after the fact to record our character rankings and a couple of top episodes for 8th MS Team and MS IGLOO. I say a bit after the fact because we're recording this literally near the end of Requiem for Vengeance, because we needed some time to get everything sorted in the rankings realm. That said, we did reach out to a bunch of you to aid in our rankings. Some of you responded. Sorry, the thought comes here, and we're going to encounter this first off, because the first thing we're going to do is look at the rankings for 8th MS Team, which nobody in the fan base voted on those characters. Oddly, people reached out to vote for MS IGLOO characters, not 8th MS Team characters.
Interesting.
Yeah, not what you would think. But I guess, in amongst our fan base, people like MS IGLOO more than they do 8th MS Team. Don't figure. Well, that said, I guess let's go ahead and hop into 8th MS Team. I had a note, but apparently I just winged it, so I don't need to go over that note. F Tier, 8th MS Team.
Yeah.
Jacob, Ellen, and Willard. Obviously, I'm still doing the color score, so yellow means I rank them higher, purple means that you ranked them higher, which is not the case here. In general, it seems like I have a higher baseline score than you do across characters.
Yeah.
And essentially, you only really seem to rank characters high that you particularly rank high. Like, I don't know, that's just a truism. But, well, no, I mean, think about it. If I have a baseline and you're always below my baseline, which was why most characters will have a yellow brick, whatever you want to call it, next to them.
Yeah.
That
Stripe.
that your characters that you rank high are like spikes through that baseline. So the only characters that will appear are ones that that are ones that you ranked high. Like, again, it sounds weird to say out loud, but I'm trying to make an emphasis on the fact that even characters I don't like, characters I would think that I ranked low, my baseline still being higher than yours means that my low ranks tend to follow, if we're doing two bar graphs that follow the same thing. Guess I know, those were line graphs, and I said bar graphs, but... Anything to say about F Tier?
Not really. Surprised that there were not more people in F Tier.
Again, I have a higher baseline than you do. I'm the forgiving part about this, which is the oddity here.
Again, most of the kids didn't even have voice lines, so I'm not surprised that they're here in the D Tier. Cynthia appears only 3 times. Standing beside Yuri.
Cynthia got a high score from me on appearance.
Yeah.
Fan of that that rope
she was being tortured.
Thing that you had me look up later.
Yeah. Well, she was being tortured. And the time where she was... Apparently she had been in bed with him, apparently, with Yuri. I don't remember exactly how that went.
There literally was no scene of that.
Yeah.
Now you're making your own stuff up.
Well, either she's hugging him. I think it's she's hugging him, and that's appears to be more... That's professional and more personal scenario.
Well, first appearance of the person you ranked higher. You want to explain that?
Elador? I think I ranked the kids memorably, and also because, but not as much.
I mean, I'm saying this is the only kid that you ranked higher so far. So why do you think this kid ranked higher for you than he did for me?
I think it went with vibes. Wasn't this the kid that tried to stop them from digging up the grave? No, that was
Shiro.
That was their leader. Yeah, that was Shiro. No, I don't remember why. Top of my head.
All right, 2 more that you voted higher.
Oh, the twins are memorable.
Are they?
Even though they don't have any, because they're always there and they're kind of creepy in the background. So, and they barely, when they do speak, they speak.
They don't. They have 0 voice lines.
Yeah. I wonder why I marked Nickard higher than you did, though.
I mean, he is the least of the 8th team. Literally, he appears in 3 episodes. 4, maybe, actually.
4. Because
the first episode is the one I was discounting him for. But technically, he appears for like a second in the first episode. A pedantic amongst the crowd would probably say he appears in every episode because he's in the ending credits.
True. Also, he's a relatively important character. He does kind of help the team a bit, especially when he hands him over the permit, right?
Well, I mean, I would say you're only right in the fact that you said relatively, which is to say you could weigh that against everything else and say he's not important. He says he hands him over the permit. Cool. They still want to kill him for disobeying orders and going off on his own. Permit literally did nothing. Other than that, he didn't even share his lunch. Dude added nothing to the show. Or
and
the
also
team,
the fact that he's the old man. He really stands out visually, being the old man in the oldest man in the entire operation. So, you know, he has a very Prospector Dave kind of look to him.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, he didn't really add anything.
Yeah, that's why he's C tier.
And we both agreed on Kojima. We both gave Kojima exactly the same score.
Not too helpful, not too. He helped, but not too much. He hindered, but not too much. I also gave Alice Miller, for which the entire Miller report was named after her, a higher rating than you did.
Of course. Well, you know, for all 5 minutes of her screen time, definitely worth naming a movie after.
I think she was memorable, even if she only got 5 minutes.
Yeah, she's memorable because she's a higher art style than the rest of the people because she got made later. I don't think she's memorable at all. Her story didn't really even end or begin. It's like she came out of a manga, and we only took like 5 minutes of her manga story and put it on screen.
Did she come? There's probably a manga about Alice.
I said she probably. I have no fucking idea. That's my running gag, is that all these people have continuing stories and mangas that... I'm just saying that her story alludes to a past that's not brought up really in the movie, other than Shiro saying, oh, you were this person. And then, you know, she fires a couple of shots and then leaves the story. So it's like, ooh, wow, very important.
Yep, she has her own manga. Or she appears in a manga later on, so.
Probably a manga adaptation of Miller's Report, to say exactly the same amount of shit.
So, yeah, he does get a follow-up in a manga somewhere.
I'm just saying, for the purposes of 8th Emma's team, as memorable as, well, Nickard. Less memorable, I'd say, but, you know, whatever.
Well, I know why I ranked Karen higher than you did. I liked her more.
I don't know where you get that from. I never said a negative thing about Karen.
Yeah, but, you know, she was one of the characters that really stuck with me.
And not me. Again, I don't know where the negative is coming from. Oh, I understand why you marked Karen less than I did. I really liked her. It's like, what?
So I had the tendency to mark her higher. That's what I'm saying.
I understand why I marked Kika higher. I really liked Kika.
You didn't really like Mikkel anyway. So.
I'm just saying, does it sound right to you? Did you have anything against Kiki? By the way, I meant Kiki, not Kika.
No, I didn't. That's
what I'm saying. It sounds weird, right, to hear me say that to you. Like,
no, I mean, I can understand why you really like the character, so you mark her higher. It's just
I didn't. I had no special feelings about Kiki one way or the other. Same thing about Karen. Top I liked, but I guess you must have ranked top down or top to get down here. I thought Top had a really good story.
She barely had a story.
I mean, she barely had a story. She's a retreating deserter trying to find food for her men, has saddled with Arth, then has to go through this whole I don't want to die arc, where then Shiro then has to put her down, where evidently
but all
she then has to...
happens in one episode.
Doesn't matter. The length of the episode doesn't matter to the depth of the story. You can tell a lot of shit in one episode.
Yeah, but the story's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not like... I wouldn't say that it's that deep.
It is deep. It's deep if you analyze it. And that's what it asks you to do by watching it. You know, it's not like I'm sitting at a campfire telling you a 24-minute story about a war deserter. You don't like the one episode encapsulated stuff.
No, I said that's not what I said.
You literally said this is a one episode in length, thus it wasn't that deep. It was literally your point.
Something doesn't necessarily have to be deep to be good, and I think that was your reason.
Sorry, go ahead.
My reason is that Top adds color to that episode. There's far more things happening in the episode, and my focus on that episode was the villagers and how they reacted.
Literally, the episode was about Top and her company encountering the villagers. Your point that a lot more was happening. Literally nothing was happening until Top showed up. Literally, the entire episode was about her and company and their effect on the villagers.
She was the inciting incident, but there were
because we follow them. We follow Top and gang, and then we get like little interludes of, well, how's Shiro going to get over here? Okay, Kika is over here interacting with them, but then we spend our time with them interacting with each other. Top, Arth, and Del. It's about them. Yeah, after they die, then it becomes everybody else, but that is literally the last 4 minutes of the episode. It's about them, and then we move on. No, it's literally the last 4 minutes. It's like they do the steel rain, and then it's Kika with the survivors. Go! If you stay, I'm gonna regret everything.
Kira arrives earlier, sets up the other GM so that they have long range fire, because his plan is to lure them out of the village, and he's setting up the interlude bits
that I referred to before. I said that's the interlude. Everything else is still Top and gang, and you know what? Shiro arriving to mess with everything is still related to Top and gang, who again we're still going back and forth through. We got to deal with Arth. Hey, Del, what's going on with your fucking family and that kid that you're messing with over there? Top, I don't want to hurt anybody. Guys, don't step on the fields. We don't want to hurt this village. We just need some food so we get the fuck out of here.
I believe that her particular story is not that deep. It's only deep in relation to everything else that happens. Those extra elements are the ones that give it depth.
That's the benefit of the Universal Century, though. Is that everything it has depth because everything related to it. The added elements, again, all my times I bring up notes about, hey, this is also happening across the world right now, or this is also happening, or these two people are in a hot tub right now. You know, the added element that I guess we didn't consider while we were watching 8th MS Team is that Shiro and Ina's hot springs moment is literally the day after Odessa.
Yeah. But I think, to be perfectly honest, that's an interesting tidbit. It really has nothing to do with them as individuals in that moment. I appreciate the extra information, but it's just a tidbit, right? Oh, by the way, this is something happening. Okay, yeah, but we're talking about these two characters here doing
I guess that's
thing.
just the difference of how each of us appreciates the show. For me, I really enjoy those background informations. They're not tidbits for me. It's massive world building. Because when, we see Shiro then go off to court-martial in the next episode, the information that, Odessa just happened and you were fucking doing what in a hot spring with Xeon operative? That gives weight to the people that are judging Odessa, though. Doesn't matter. We know. We know. But just because why would you mention Odessa in the middle of a court-martial? It's like, it's background information that I feel informs the characters.
Okay. But what if you didn't know?
I didn't know 20 years ago. So,
and you still enjoyed it and on its own merits, right?
so you're saying I
So
can't have added information to enjoy episodes with?
you can have it, yeah, but
So I don't know why you want to make the show worse for me, because that seems like that's what you're trying to do right now. You're like, what if? No, stop for a second. You're saying, what if you didn't know? So you're saying, if I reduced the value of the information that being added to me by all the other shows that we're watching, and just isolated each show to its own thing, that I should enjoy that and not have to care about all the other stuff in this shared universe, and not enjoy how it adds to itself.
Okay, let me put it this way. The show should be good enough that is not a requirement.
I never said it was a requirement. The fact is, though, that we are watching all of these shows, so that we should get added enjoyment from it. The same way that if you watched the original series and then you went off to watch TNG, you should get additional enjoyment from recognizing the shared universe between the two shows.
I mean, it's a bonus, but that's all there is. Anyway,
Norris Packard, we both gave the same score.
I mean, he was cool all around. I thought I'd give him a higher rating myself, but I guess not.
Literally exactly the same as me.
I did give Ina and Sanders higher scores, and Mikkel.
Well, of course, Mikkel's a piece of shit. I did not like him 20 years ago, and I do not like him now. Which is to say, he's not a bad character. He is, I would argue, to be the most annoying character in the show. Probably second to Elidor.
I used to think that Elidor was the most annoying character, but
Elidor had a point. Mikkel was just a whiny, bitchy guy.
Somebody was trying to survive a war.
So was Elidor. And you know what? Technically, not for nothing. Technically, everybody was trying to survive the war. That is not a defense. Michael is like, oh, baby, you know? And then he just, all he does is bitch. All he does is bitch and complain. Oh, you don't appreciate the women that are around you that actually do love you, Commander. Clucking
chicken. I would be. I wouldn't if I'm Mikkel, because I probably would be Mikkel in the story, except for the part where I started getting into a fight while we're prisoners and almost getting shot. That part was.
If I was anybody in 8th MS team, I would be Nickard. I would be pulling over on the side of the road, making lunch, selling people unsigned documents. I mean, it's either that or I'd be Mike. Toothless bastard wouldn't take care of my teeth during a wartime. No, yeah, only 2 and 8 here. We both ranked Shiro exactly the same. Of course, I ranked Yuri higher. I liked him.
Well, Yuri is a cool character, but he comes in a little too late for me. Shiro is. It's interesting. Shiro didn't get S rank for any of us.
What do you mean Yuri came in a little too late? He came in close to 4 episodes in.
Yeah, but he does the ballroom scene, disappears. Then has a little bit of a scene where the whole escape from the vaporization bomb. And then the cool aspect of him was like, oh, my men, I got to protect them and all that. And
I'll be honest, the coolest aspect of him is his uniform.
So who is our S tier ranked character then?
Well, make a guess. I literally don't remember. I want you to make a guess first.
I won't dare. Well, I mean, we got all the MS team members. Ina is already here.
Twice.
So it's Genius. Yeah. So who could it be? It's not Kojima.
Why would Kojima be an S tier?
Yeah, but I mean, characters are significant. Ryer.
I would like to remind you that once again, the character ranking does not determine significance.
Can't think of a character. Unless we're counting Mex's character, so no.
Hasn't so far. We haven't yet encountered a self-intelligent machine.
I mean, no, but there's no S tier then, because I can't think of anybody.
Because as I said, I do not remember.
Yeah, there's no one in S tier.
Yeah, no S tier.
No wonder I couldn't find anybody. There
Well,
wasn't
I
anybody.
should have prefaced you to close your eyes to begin with, not let you got a second
Oh.
look at the board. Well, because that's what I did last time. I realized as you just started listing everybody that you could see, it's like, oh, well, that's no fun. You should have to remember, or at least consider who you would think should be S tier, and then we can see how that ranks against how you actually ranked the characters. So I have the one last little added thing here. In the 8th MS team, Lesson's highest rated character, Shiro Yamada, with a score of 39 on your end.
Yep.
My highest rated character, Yuri Kellerin, with a score of 48.
Oh, you
So, I
really
mean,
rank him high.
obviously that didn't really amount to much since there's a gray bar here. So, obviously you already know that I gave him a 39 exactly like you did. The difference here is actually that I gave Yuri an S tier rank, evidently, which then implies that you're the one that brought Yuri down.
Yeah. I mean, cool character and all that, but I don't think he would be S tier.
You say that, but there's really only a 5-point difference between what I gave him and what he wound up at. Which means what? That you must have given him 38? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm just trying to do the math on what an average would be. That if I gave him 48, whatever you gave him would have dragged him down to a 43. So I'm assuming it's 10 points less than me.
Either way, not S tier. Not in this.
Well, yeah, but still higher than Shiro.
Yeah. I think Shiro should have. Well, I mean, visually, now we go back to the visual distinct aspect, and yeah, he is pretty visually distinct.
Yeah, Shiro is wearing literally a wife beater, or just a white t-shirt, rather.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever wear a wife beater. I don't know that word came into my head. Well, a wife beater is just a tank top.
Yeah.
Shiro just wears a plain white t-shirt. He is the least visually distinct character I could think of. I think I probably gave him a 3 or 4 on visual appearance. Like, his hairstyle isn't even that distinct. Yuri beats him in hairstyle, too.
I mean, he looks like somebody set his hair on fire, but sure.
No, he looks like the main bad guy from Tekken.
So there you have it. Our rankings.
Of 8th MS team.
More or less. MS team, yeah.
All right, well, moving on to MS IGLOO, which includes Hidden 1 Year War, 0079, Apocalypse, and IGLOO 2, Gravity Front. Just a late after the fact thought with the context of both past and current shows. I think the Zeon Death God might just be a Lala level new type. Someone just existing Force Ghost style after death like Lala did for a bit. Just unlike Lala, who was focused on the people in front of her, it seems like the Zeon Death God is focused on revenge, though not actively able to do anything about it. She just goes places and hangs around people it will soon happen to. I mean, her ability to know what's coming for those people would also be a bit of that new type of power.
Yeah. Although, you know me, I like to have like there's no real simple explanation for this, but a simpler explanation. And that is simply it's an allegory or metaphor for, you know, how all-consuming war becomes in their minds, right? Especially in Gravity Front. Because we don't see her in the first two, in the original, run of IGLOO. So she's clearly only here Gravity Front. And all the stories from the Federation side are, yeah, Federation is winning, but you're not going to survive this, right?
Well, to be fair, not everybody sees Lala either.
Yeah. I mean, those are new types, but we don't have any inclination that the people in Gravity Front are also new types.
Well, them seeing the Death God, if the Death God is a new type, would be that.
Yeah, but you should get some other inclinations like headaches or sound effect or...
Well, actually, it does. It happens to Cameron.
Cameron?
Cameron Bloom. When he first encounters Lala. Remember, that's the first
No,
time we ever talked about the LSD trip, because he sees literally Kira as she's going away from him.
yeah, gliding away.
Yeah, the little sparkles and everything throughout in the air. And we said, "Oh, that's a fucking LSD trip," because it's the first time any of that thing really happens. I guess outside
Yeah,
of
but it seems everybody, because it was him and there was Char.
no,
Han.
Cameron's the one regarding it and thinking about it.
Yeah.
Nobody else even reacts to it.
Yeah.
So that's at least one time it did happen in the OG. But then that again implies that it doesn't happen to everybody, because nobody else has that effect. I guess maybe Amuro to Lala.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think it explains at least the Death God a little bit. All right, IGLOO rankings. And yes, we had audience interaction this time.
So we scored Bebel the same, right?
Which is lower than what the audience scored him.
And you scored
everybody else higher than you, basically.
Yeah. Yet we scored them higher than the audience.
Yep. Bebel's odd man out, even at lowest rank. You remember who Bebel is, right?
The gun? No, he's not the gunner.
Nope.
No, I don't know who Bebel was, to be perfectly honest.
Neither did I. That's probably why he went so low.
Yeah.
Best guess, he's from that episode where the Feddies take over the Zakus and infiltrate the base in the tank episode. The MS IGLOO tank episode, not the MS IGLOO 2 tank episode.
The ones who were on board the Zakus, yeah.
Yes, that's what I said.
I mean, aside from saying that Domenico Marquez glasses make him a very distinct character, that's about it. Well, whatever he's wearing. And then you still scored him higher than I did, so.
Well, we already had this whole conversation about visual appearance. Even though I don't remember a person. Even though I don't remember a person in 5 categories, 4 1s and a 5 still make a 9.
Well, I scored Ray-Ban Surat, who sounds like a
Ray-Ban Surat.
Ray-Ban Surat. And Doroba Kutsawayo higher than you did.
Because I forgot who Ray-Ban was.
He was the guy who was a newbie that was assigned to the tank with the other guy. The only guy that survives the battle, actually.
Well, it's because the Death Guy wasn't there for him. The Death Guy was there for the other guy.
Yeah, but still.
Remember this whole conversation about you can see the thing on my back? Yeah, that's right. But, I remember the conversation. Not Ray-Ban, though.
Doraba also doesn't survive as well. Everybody in that team dies. Actually, no, it's Papa Sidney Lewis.
You're talking about a different team. You're talking about Bayberry. That's the first team with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not Ray-Ban.
Well, he didn't see this. Either way, Papa didn't see the Death God and still got annihilated.
So yeah, because he's part of a anti-Zaku task force of infantrymen. Might I remind you of like newbies? That was the whole thing. You can't send me out there, Komata, with these people. The people who go up on a high scaffolding to take out a Zaku, and Bayberry's like, get the fuck down from there. Too late, dead. I mean, we did score Doroba the same as the audience, even though you scored him higher.
The audience, I think, scored everyone higher than we. No, we all scored him higher than the audience, except for Elmer Snell.
Yeah, which I think you scored him low. And I was like, why did you score him this low? You remember?
Yeah, I remember the fact that the only picture that we have is him holding a joystick, and it was like, what the hell
he seems like an eminently important character, though.
True, but I remember his white ogre Zaku. That was a visual distinctive aspect of it. That's a funny picture of Komata.
It's the one that was on the board. It's the one that's on the main board.
Yeah. We rated Federico Castellano. Well, everybody rated him.
First appearance ever of both of us agreeing on a score independently of one another, and the audience agreeing with us. Federico Zarno is the
Sorry,
exact right
yeah.
spot according to everybody. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had a note about it.
I know that the captain higher than
C
that both
tier?
you and the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
Martin
why.
Personnel.
I thought I was.
Oh, he's the captain.
I thought I
He's a
was
captain.
fair.
I'm not saying you're being unfair. I'm
No,
just
no, no.
saying that
I'm saying
I
I
did.
thought I was fair with his score. So the element that you marked him higher, I don't know.
He's a also very important character. I mean, he's the captain of the ship throughout the entire 2 parts of the.
I would argue that he's the least important of a command crew. I mean, obviously not the chief boatswain and the navigator and everybody has already scored lower than him. I just mean that he tends to follow the orders of the people around him, even though he's the captain. You know, Cadillac calls him out on it, but obviously mostly it's Oliver gets orders from what's his name, Albert, and then he passes his orders on to the captain, and then the captain obeys those orders. Otherwise, the captain really only has that one episode about the sister ship to the Jotunheim that goes down.
Gets destroyed.
Yeah, and then he's like lamenting the captain who he knew personally. And it's like I think that's mostly what I scored him on when it came to like character development and whatnot. Otherwise, he's just a cool looking background guy. No different really than Chief Boatswain, except that he gets more voice lines. Honestly, I might have scored Kolmata higher than him. I probably did. Kolmata is an annoying character, but he is in all 3 episodes of IGLOO 2. And I scored the character who is part of your favorite episode, or to be seen, anticipate it to be your favorite episode higher than you did.
Yeah, we don't see him. We don't see him as a picture and a voice. He does have voice lines.
Yeah,
and only at the very end.
And not to mince words, he does get character developed.
Sort of. I mean, he is
we know his
accused of being
backstory from her flashback to the hangar. We know what he becomes due to how she's trying to fucking kill him, and then we know what he really is due to the his words, but I assume they're true because of events.
Yeah. Thought I scored Erwin higher. I guess I didn't.
Well, I scored it. Yeah, I would say I scored him higher.
Werner Halbein, we scored the same.
Well, again, you don't know what I've scored anybody, so you can't think that you scored them higher. So that's why I was misreading what you said there for a moment. I scored them higher, obviously, by the color code that's going on here. You may have scored them high. I also scored them high, just higher than you. Granted, there are a lot of things on here where sometimes you say scored somebody like a 38, and then I scored them like a 39. Technically, I did score them higher than you, but the point difference in that case would almost be negligible. The point difference then would be made up by the audience's numbers. So, like, say if you scored a 38 and I scored a 39, the average would obviously be 38 because it shoots for the floor of the number. And then if the audience scored lower and it's red, as it indicates that they did, say, 30 or whatever, boom.
All of these got lowered audience, all of them across the board.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously you scored Harmon higher because you must have remembered my tabletop character's name.
Of course, yes.
That's the only reason I could think of. Like, I think I maybe scored him highest in, like, visual. Because grizzled old man with prosthetic leg.
Prosthetic leg, yeah.
And Xeon Death God, of course, I scored higher. Also, I really enjoyed the Cuspin character. Wasn't a fan of Barbary, but scored him higher than you did somehow.
Poor bastard.
Well, again, the problem is that, like most things in IGLOO 2, other works do it better. So there's better versions of Barbary in other shows that we've already watched. Like, I can't remember exactly what I'm referring to, but literally I made the comment while we were watching it. It's like, oh, this is exactly like Barbary, except he's a more, I want to say, reasonable, relatable it's a better made character. Barbary is all, what can we do with 3D animation with a face?
True.
I really want to show the expression of PTSD on a face in a 3D model. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas I think future shows aren't trying to push the realm of 3D animation as hard. So they're like, well, I want a character to express this thing, and we're doing it in 3D animation. But we're doing that because we want to do it there, not because we're trying to push the medium. So the characters are more relatable, reasonable, understandable. Barbary falls on the sword of its own time.
You said Cuspin, Von Cuspin. Cadillac looks like a younger version of us Cuspin, if you think about it.
The chins are different.
One is more pointed, yeah.
Well, it's
but the face.
I keep bringing up. I'm watching Link Click, and literally, I'm like, "Oh, is this guy actually the killer?" Let me look at him. Well, no, one's got blonde hair, one's got brown hair. What about the chins? Oh, they got pointy chins. Wait, everybody in this show has pointy chins.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if he has a better diet, Crespin's got a thicker face too. He definitely spends more time indoors.
Yeah. Well, if you're in a space station, are you ever really outdoors?
Yeah. You're in a side. Sides aren't technically, it's like the same thing as space stations. They've got artificial lighting. They've got light redirected from the sun. It's really no different.
Still, it's a space station.
Not really.
The size doesn't change the definition of space station.
I think it does. I think at a certain size, you become like a megastructure, and megastructures don't follow the same nouns as the rest.
The larger space station.
Yeah, sure. It's like, well, yeah, that Dyson sphere. You mean that space station? No. You have different words for megastructures because they're so big as to become different. We're not going to put the ISS and Side 3 in the same category. You say why not? You say why not, and it's going to be the same reason that we don't consider Pluto a planet, right? Not the right size, not large enough to have a sphere-based shape due to its own gravity. Like, there are definitional terms that I feel like apply here. I'm not just being pedantic. I feel... Well, a lot of my arguments are based on feeling. This is just another one, but I also feel like I'm right, which is obviously the case for most arguments, not all of them. Some of them are because you present your argument in such a way that just pisses me off, and I keep wanting to carry through.
Okay.
Hey, I don't lie about it. I'm literally telling you up front.
Okay. The A tier might be small. Yes, I was not wrong.
Well, they're both higher ranks from you.
Yeah. I mean, I think Oliver, and I like Arlene's
oh yeah, I mean, I anticipate you're going to have a whole thing to say about Arlene in a minute.
Mostly that she reminds me of one of my ex-girlfriend's best friends, but, you know.
How she killed her boyfriend because she thought she was cheating on him?
No.
Not she thought she was cheating on him. The other way around. She thought he was cheating on her.
Yeah, first name and...
how she suicide bombed someone?
No, not like that. And appearance. And Oliver... I mean,
she spent time in jail for stealing state secrets?
Which she didn't do. She just got accused of it.
Oh, she did spend time in jail.
Oh, yeah. She didn't do what she was accused of. She was not guilty of it.
That's the relationship then. Your friend's girlfriend and Arlene both spent time in jail for something that they were accused of doing they didn't do.
He would be one of my ex-girlfriend's best friends.
So I just completely forgot the relationship. I was too hard on this. What did they do that makes them exactly like Arlene Nazon, who once again went to jail and then killed her ex with a suicide bomb?
The only thing is that the first name reminds me of her and the look of her face. That's it. Both of them are blonde. Although now, you know, age-wise, she's going more gray hair, but still, you know, that's it.
I'm just saying, if you told me, hey, you remind me of this character from a show, and then told me what that character did, I would be like, what the fuck? What part of this reminds me of you? Oh, just the face. Just the face and the hair. A
Look at
lot
the
of people
voice.
that like this on TV. Why this one? Well, you know the drill. Close your fucking eyes and tell me who's in S tier.
I mean, it has to be Cadillac.
Is that it? You think it's the only person in S tier? I literally said close your eyes. Don't investigate.
I mean, aside from Cadillac and who else? I don't see anybody else.
Again, I put this together at like 4 a.m. I don't remember who was where.
Yeah. Monique Cadillac.
And of course, I scored her higher and the audience scored her lower. But fuck you. My score got her to 50 either way. But again,
I think the score, your scores and ours would have pushed it to S tier. I think the combined score from the audience probably is the thing that pushed her lower.
Well, again, I've got the same note as I did before. Mm-hmm. Lessons, highest rated character, Monique Cadillac and Oliver May, both with a 37. So literally, you are one of the reasons that Oliver May is an A tier and not S tier. Audience, I'll save mine to the last. Audience's highest rated character, Monique Cadillac and Oliver May, both rated at 50. So it's the audience is really the raising Oliver up to the top of A tier at the very least. My highest rated character, Monique Cadillac, 48. Did not rate Oliver May the same number as I did Monique, like you and the audience both did. I mean, she's literally the best character of the show.
True.
I mean, it couldn't be untrue. The board shows it to be true.
By popular demand, yeah.
Yes. I believe the popularity of a character is by popular demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know what the point of that statement was. That's a truism.
Well, I mean, the popularity alone does not make for a best character. It's a contributing factor, but not alone by itself.
I would argue that popularity does make for the best character.
Really?
What
could be a shitty character that has something that people like, the looks of it or something like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't stand the test of like going through everything. Like a shitty character that has something that people like doesn't tend to be best character. You don't get voted to the top with somebody that everyone agrees is a shitty thing. I would argue that probably puts you in an A or B tier character. To be voted to the top, you have to be... There has to be a lot going for you. Like, think back to... Well, you know what, in fact, let's just go to it. The combined all Gundam thing so far. Characters in S tier are more than just they've got a shitty thing, but they've got also something that people like. No. All S tier characters are good characters, important characters.
I'll assume. Interesting.
What?
No, it's like Lala of the Sun, I guess, which kind of fits her bright color clothing and a yellow motif.
I bet somebody could make a montage of every time you've analyzed her name.
Kika. I hope we'll see Kika again in the future. Well, those are the rankings so far.
Nothing to say about anybody else?
Nope. I guess I am very conservative in my rankings. Just because. My tendency.
Well, just to give myself a little bit more options. Let's see. For example, pick a random character. Random character you're interested in from, say, I don't know, either one. 8th MS Team or IGLOO.
MS Team, Shiro.
Ah, shit, you had to pick the one confusing one. No, because there's two Shiro Yamadas. I think which one, actually?
Well, 8th MS Team is Shiro Yamada.
Yeah, which one?
There's only one Shiro Yamada.
No, there's not. There's two.
Character. In MS Team?
Yes.
Who's the other Shiro?
The kid.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not counting that.
You fucking asshole. The entire point of the back half of that episode is you cannot take our names away from us. It was the inciting conflict at the end of the episode that those are our names. We didn't grow up with names. We've been treated as less than human. We've had numbers up until now. Shiro gave us our names. You cannot take them away from us. And you literally just tried to take his name away from him. You asshole.
I don't care. When I think Shiramada, it's only one Shiramada.
There's two Shiromadas. The other one is the commander of the kids, who possibly may or may not be dead already. As per that discussion of episode 12 and every other time we've brought it up.
Yeah. Talking about the Shiramada.
Also, what the fuck are you doing? I'm going to this thing to give you an example, and you picked the one that we both agreed what their score was.
You said pick one at random.
Fine,
and I did.
all right. I guess it's not. I was going to do the score of just general, but the only way to do this was we both gave them a 39. Worst example you could have fucking picked. You were bad at this. I'm not going to you anymore.
Okay,
Distinctive personality, I gave him an 8. You gave him a 7. Compelling backstory, I gave him a 9. You gave him an 8. Iconic visual design, I gave him a 5. You gave him a 5. He just wears a fucking white t-shirt. I don't even know why we even gave him a 5. Emotional resonance, I gave him a 7. You gave him a 9. Significant character development, I gave him a 10. You gave him a 10. So generally, I gave him 1 more in personality and backstory than you did. And then you gave him 2 more in emotional resonance than I did. Which is how we literally get to the same score.
Still proves the point that I'm more conservative in my scores, therefore they're lower.
Well, no,
overall.
Literally, I was hoping you'd pick somebody fucking at random that would show that conservativeness in scores, but you literally picked one that we gave the same score to.
So there you have it, the rankings.
All right, top episode then.
Of IGLOO first, right?
I was going to say 8th MS Team, but sure, if you want to go with IGLOO, go with IGLOO. The one that we already know what you're going to say.
I don't know. Top 5 IGLOO episodes. My 1 is Cross the Path of Light.
Well, top 1 episodes, not top 5.
Yeah, but I wrote a 5, and this is a top 1. The one I went from 5 to 1, and this is Cross the Path of Light is the one that
I guess you did 4 honorable mentions then.
Yes. Cross the Path of Light is MS IGLOO
2, episode 3, if I had to guess.
It's the one where Cadillac's brother dies. They fight in the moon.
Oh, you didn't pick the one that you said that was your favorite.
I mean, it's one of my favorites, but it's not necessarily the favorite.
No, I mean, back when we watched IGLOO 2, episode 3, you said this one was my favorite. So I assumed it would be your number 1. It's what I've been alluding to this entire time.
Yeah, well, you were wrong. That was my the top episode of IGLOO. Both movies, both series.
Is that all you have to say about it?
I mean, it's Cadillac's brother's death and how it affects her, and really how hopeless the whole situation, especially when he tries to get this other kid to surrender, because there were kids on both sides, right? There were just cadets on both sides. It's like, can we stop firing? It's like, okay. And they agree to it. And then this one straight shot from Salamas just kills them both. And, it's just like, what a waste, right? Especially that we know that, to include information both from the episode and from other sources, we know that the war is about to end, right? If he had brought him in and be a prisoner, they probably would have been both let go in a prisoner exchange in a matter of hours or maybe a day or so. It's it has that very much, all's quiet on the Western Front kind of situation, right?
So I don't know if he just referenced yesterday.
Yeah. So, yeah, it has that aspect to it, which is a very powerful movie and book. Movies, actually, because there'll be 2 of them.
All right, well, despite you just cutting me off by saying that I'm wrong, how about you at least tell us why it's better than the anticipated to be your favorite episode?
I mean, I like that episode mostly because I like that. What I really like about that episode, besides the fact that I like the characters and the whole betrayal thing, is that it's we get to see Odessa in more depth as a big battle, as opposed to just like, oh, some guy showed up and that's it, and a nuke. It really gets that sense of like how important this battle is and everything that's engaged. And I also like the animation of the
No,
mechs and
I
everything.
think you're misunderstanding. I mean, I disagree with a lot that you just said, but I'm not asking why you liked that episode. I'm asking you to say why you liked the episode that you picked more than that episode.
Because it has a higher emotional resonance, especially with the loss of Edwin Cadillac. And how it literally, I mean, I really sympathize with his sister and how she was torn up about it, right? So that's why I like
small chuckle. Edmund Cadillac.
Edwin Cadillac, yeah.
No, that's what you said. That's not his name.
No, Edwin.
Erwin.
I'm
assuming he's a allusion to Erwin Rommel because he has the kind of the German desert uniform going on.
Yeah,
with the
Africa Corps. Yeah,
with his Xeon Youth outfit going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just assume that's what's going on there. But just the long trail of us giving them all alternative names. Derek Zabi, whatever I just said earlier with that other guy's name I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
Edmund Cadillac. We're gonna do like I forgot the guy's name from Harmony Gold. We're gonna do an Americanization of everything. Yeah, Masak. My number one is the episode after the one that you're referring to. Spirits returning to the Cries of Thunder, season 2, episode 3, because obviously it pays off everything that you're talking about from that episode. I'm not too in on Oliver as action hero. I don't really care about that part, but it's we see Cadillac in her distressed state, all flustered, the hair and everything like that, shut away in her room, kind of just like, tell my brother I said hi if you see him when you die. And then she comes back too at the very end, because she comes down the hallway all dressed up, hair done back and everything like that, because she's come back too, and then possibly lost Oliver, then comes back. I think it plays well, and to what you were saying was the benefit of, again, the episode I expected you to say was the best episode of IGLOO. It gives more life to the Battle of Abaquo. Like, obviously, the Battle of Abaquo is already busy. It doesn't need any added materials. But, like I did when I was discussing it in the post notes, you can apply all of the background information of what is being told or being said by Kycelia and Giran back in the original Mobile Suit Gundam episodes and apply it to here, where they're also talking about the fields and who's where and moving where, to generally give more depth to the overall tactical readout of who's doing what where. I don't know. It's just a really good episode, and I feel like it's a culmination of everything that's been built up so far, except for the overall emotional read of the series. Because the overall emotional read is people being left behind by this new war. Tank commanders that can't deal with the PTSD of what they've been through. Targeting officers who no longer have the weaponry or aren't needed for the weaponry that they've been trained their entire lives to use. Whatever the hell Werner was about. I don't understand the ocean guy at all.
No, he was a Marine, and I think explained that they were no longer doing operations on Earth. So,
but he really wasn't about ocean operations. He was about aerial stuff, and he had this whole backstory about his dad used to do diving stuff.
Fishing.
And fighting a shark, which all turned out to be fake anyway. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't really understand what that guy was about, because it wasn't about, like, the futility of pursuing a future that you based your whole life on, but you're actually acting in the past. Not because the past, not like some weird time nonsense shit, but I mean, like, you're acting in the past because the future has moved on without you, sort of thing. That's been the narrative so far. And then Werner shows up, and it's like, you lied about who your grandpa was and the stories that he told you, and then failed a couple of times in the thing that you were doing, and then sacrificed your life to accomplish. It's like, I don't understand Werner at all.
Yeah, so that's my top episode of IGLOO.
You wrote them down, you might as well bring out your honorable mentions.
Number 5 is Odessa Ironstorm, which is the one you thought that was going to be my top number 1.
And it wasn't even your number 2.
No.
I mean, again, that one, I disagree about your point about it fleshing out Odessa, because it really doesn't do that either. I would say it's comparable to what we saw in OG Gundam.
I think there's more detail, especially when you have the GMs, where the GMs don't appear in the original.
Right, but they only do so many models because it's like early CGI. Like they don't put a lot of shit out there. I only really remember it for their what do you call it? Not customized. Variants. Their variant gun tanks that the main crew uses, and then they're charging through and they're like shooting a bunch of people, but it's like, it feels like it's a side bit to the rest of Odessa and not even the main fight. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like it's fleshing out Odessa.
Yeah, it's my number 3 is, well, my number 4 is Take Out the Angel of Death, which is Marbury and the
another IGLOO 2.
Yeah. My number 3 is House of Stained Dust, which is not a IGLOO Driver in Front episode. Actually, yes, it is, I believe. No, it's the one about the one where the mysterious Sonnen, the drug addicted PTSD tank driver from Zeon, takes out the 3 Zeon suits that were used by the Federation.
The first tank episode, not the second tank episode.
Mm-hmm. And the second to not last is Dance of the Orbital Ghosts.
I will say I didn't bring it up, but that was the one I was also considering as my first, because I really like the character of Jean-Luc Duval.
Yeah.
But I thought there was more emotional impact. Man, maybe I would have tied them for my first. I'm still really debating it, but I don't know. I guess the act of the final episode of the first MS IGLOO being the emotional culmination of everything makes it stand out a little bit more, because it then, still builds on, the death of Erwin and everything. Whereas Jean-Luc's episode is just almost self-encapsulating.
Yeah. Well, but I also like the whole propaganda fight between the Zeon and the Federation, and why he was so obsessed about perfecting the suit. It's like, I was never given a chance. Turns out the suit was always flawed. It would have taken a lot of more work for it to do a suit that can tear itself apart. It's not a good suit.
Well, again, the element is it tears itself apart after it reaches a certain point, which would be the design parameter to not go past. It would be the operational manual saying don't go over 360 miles per hour or you'll tear yourself apart. And it's like, that's not a flaw. That's driver error at that point.
No, you would build some security so it doesn't happen at all, right?
Well, then you just put a limiter on it. And it's like, that would be the easier thing to do. We can do it in NASCAR. I think we can do it to a mobile suit. Yeah. But I'm just saying, that's not so much again, that's like, I put too powerful of an engine in it. Okay, we'll just make weaker engines or limit the output of that engine. It's not the whole suit is flawed because of it. And again, not for nothing, but they keep using them.
Yeah, and they keep failing.
Well, no, they don't, actually. After 3 more episodes after that, they've had 2 Zimods on the Jotunheim the entire time. And they don't fall apart, they just use them for defense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't fail after that. They just lose in combat, I guess, because they go down to 1 at some point. And then, no, they had 2, actually. Sorry. after Oliver doesn't die at the end of, I guess, technically episode 6.
Yeah.
The
Cadillac
two,
grabs one of them and uses it.
yeah, and then the other one's there too, because I think what's his name, the overexcitable guy, is also there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So like I'm saying, technically the Z-mods are fine.
Yeah, but okay, they're meant to be very fast. They can't really do the fast thing, so
They can,
in a sense,
they can still outspeed a GM.
And in order to do that, they tear themselves apart.
No, I'm saying they can still go faster than a GM without tearing themselves apart. Jean-Luc was outrunning a bunch of GMs well before he ever reached the red limit that then tore himself apart. Because we saw Mustang following him, right? And then he is speeding away from them, and it's not until the very end she's like, "Oh no, you're going too fast." He was already ways away from them. The Z-mod is capable of outpacing a GM just fine. It's the pilots that push it too far. You know, if you put everybody as a Maverick from Top Gun into a Z-mod, yeah, they're all going to kill themselves. You need somebody with some form of restraint.
So there you have it.
All right. Well, I think the expected one is the 8th MS Team best episode, which I think clearly you're going to say episode 12.
No. My
Cut
best
the video
episode
right there.
is
No.
Yeah.
Done.
No, done. Yeah. No. The Shutting Mountain Part 1.
Yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who? Like, what was the other option? I guess somebody might have picked Shattering Mountain Part 2.
Part 2 was pretty good. Episode 2.
But it's not Part 1.
Yeah, it's not Part 1. It's not Norris' final badass.
Just the entire battle.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that's the battle in the city where Norris takes out all the
No,
gun
I just
tanks.
remember having this conversation while we were watching it. And I was thinking, I thought this entire fight happened in one battle. And we had a conversation about it maybe not happening all in one battle. So I'm just confusing myself in hindsight.
No, the problem is that the battle continues into second episode where, whatever the name of the ship comes out.
No, I'm talking specifically only about the Norris part of the fight.
No, I think it was all in the one episode. He was dead by the end of the episode. Yeah. It was Norris episode.
I'm not asking you to elaborate. I'm asking you to elaborate, but not on this conversation, on your pick.
It's one of those episodes where the battle actually has emotional resonance because you can understand what he's doing, why he's doing it. He's trying to buy time for mostly for her and for the ship to take off and leave. And it's just a cool ass, mech combat combat in a city, right? Everything is the choreograph, the way the battle is put together. Like, for example, that sequence when he's falling through the building, like, oh, I got him. And he just, Terry shoots where he should have been, but he isn't because he's hanging from the rope, right? And then he just shoots the gun tank in. Everything is choreographed pretty well.
Okay, here's the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And this will probably be the last thing, obviously, because I don't think I have any disagreements and probably all the same thoughts about the episode. Name one cooler fight in Gundam.
The Dawn fight against the special team in Dawn's Island.
Which one?
The one in the crater. Well, the whole fight when they show up.
Instantly disagree.
That's a pretty cool fight.
I don't think it's on the par of this. I was almost going to go with you, not literally, ironically, if you were going to say the city fight with those guys. When we first see them, they're actually fighting in a city, and they're actually going against some GMs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, but again, not as cool as this, though.
Yeah, no, they clearly were the advantage, and the GMs were wiping the floor with tacos, and all of a sudden these guys show up and they're dead.
The element that the crater fight in Dones is also essentially one-sided, almost completely. The last guy has a little bit, And unfortunately, they don't really pay off that one woman's relationship to Doan.
But Dawn,
She just fucking dies. So it's that one is a stomp. So there's no real back and forth. It doesn't really equate, in my eyes, to the Norris fight. I can't really think of one that's better that we've seen so far. Char and Loom is really just a bunch of dashing around. It's not really that thematically great.
I suppose which one?
Iron Cavalry, maybe.
No, McHugh versus Emerald in Texas.
I mean, that's a lot of cool trap fighting. We don't see that anywhere else. But then again, that Norris essentially is creating traps with distractions.
Yeah.
You know, look over here. Here's that thing I did over there a minute ago. Well, I'm over here now. Look over there. Look at me. Look over there. Look at me. Look over there. I got your tank. Yeah, I would say maybe Iron Cavalry fight from Origin would be my possibly better than. Well, one, it's the first. It's also, maybe maybe the element of being first. Like, also you get to see the Black Tri-Stars doing the Jetstream maneuver for the first time as well. Like, legitimately, they would have had no time to test that out. Like, they were coming up with it on the fly. Even then, I guess maybe not as good still. Norris does a lot of really creative shit using the environment. Shiro pulling his arm off to use as a weapon. You know, MacGyvering something on the fly. Mm-hmm. Literally having to restart the mech mid-fight.
Well, Norris is using him as a body shield, basically. Yeah. So the other guys don't shoot him,
You don't get that shit from any other fight that I can remember in all of Gundam.
Yeah.
I guess technically, if we're just going to like fight, then maybe Ramba's invasion of White Base.
Yeah. But
it has at least the emotionality to it. Having to evade, going down hallways, sacrificing himself at the end. Confrontation with Sayla.
Yeah. Sayla never actually shooting anybody, at least face to face. She killed people in the G-Bowl, but not by herself. Anytime she sees him in a gun, she shoots a couple of times and never shoots anybody. She doesn't shoot her brother, doesn't shoot Drambo Rao, doesn't shoot the prisoner.
Well, she took a Hippocratic oath.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't cover beam cannons in the G-Bowl, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. That's my only real competition there, I guess. The invasion of White Base by Ramba Ral. It's not really the same category of thing, but it's the most comparable large scale, or it doesn't have to be a large scale. It's the most comparable fight has edge of your seat emotions to it, right? Because you don't know who the fuck's going to die. A lot of people on White Base died in that invasion. Granted, we don't know any of them. But they all seem to be wearing a white and blue uniform and had blonde hair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on this? All right. Well, I guess that's it for this. So, or whatever. What's that thing that you say all the time?
What do I say all the time?
I've literally forgotten. That's why I'm prompting you to say it.
That's it, mate.
Was that it?
That's it.
I forgot. I literally forgot. I just remembered we had a whole conversation about it.
That's all there is.
All right. Well, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?